got to have basic rules, essential rules for your offense, for your team to understand how to execute properly. But then you can also, once you've established those rules, whether it's with a passing game, whether it's formations, whether it's the running game, once you've established those base rules as far as assignments, as far as where players should be on parts of the field, then you can start developing variations off of your main type of concept, scheme, and then you can add in wrinkles because, again, at the end of the day, us as offensive coaches, we want things to be simple for our players, our individuals, but we also want to make it very difficult for the defense, the opposing defense, from week to week to understand what we are trying to do. They're eventually going to grab onto our base concepts, but then how do we take those base concepts and change them around to make them look a lot different, but still be the same for us? What's up, everybody? It's Coach Ross Football. Welcome back to the channel. If you've never been here before, thanks for stopping by, checking out this video. This video and this channel is dedicated to the spread offense. We talk about the air raid offense. We talk about the run and shoot. We talk about passing schemes and running schemes. We talk about blocking techniques. Anything and everything and talking about the spread offense to make you a better offensive coach, we try and cover on this channel. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, share this video out if you want to have other coaches see this video that need the help, that want to be become better offense coaches so we can grow this community. This video here is a continuation of the previous video I just released, where I talk about building a success or building a foundation for success with regards to base rules within your offense that you can establish from day one. And then from once those base rules are established, then you can start building your offense. So same thing can be true with the running game. So you have base rules for your base formations as far as blocking schemes and blocking responsibilities. But then from there, you can start adding in the wrinkles to that particular scheme, whether it's a gap scheme, whether it's a zone scheme, anything you have, you can start adding little variations to it. You can add wrinkles to it because at the end of the day, as offensive coaches, we obviously want things to be easy for our players. The faster they can execute, the faster they can play. It's up to us as offensive coaches to start building in variations to make it look like we're running our same basic offensive concepts, but then changing them around, adding in the wrinkles from week to week. How can we make it look different, but still be the same for our boys, for our guys to understand so that they can execute? So in this video, I'm just going to show you the basic standard rules for counter. All right, when we have counter in our offense, it's probably our number one running play, the one that we kind of hang our hat on. It's our staple running play. We have basic rules that we install day one or whenever it is where you're putting in the counter run scheme that the offense has to follow, whether, depending on what kind of formation we're in. But from there, once that base stuff is established and they understand it, they can rep it and basically just tell us what the responsibilities are without really having to think about it. Then from there, we can start building little pieces to it so that we can start expanding the counter to make it look a little bit different, to have variations to it, to include play action and little play pass wrinkles off of it. So I'm going to show you in this video basic standard blocking assignments when it comes to our counter play, 2x2 set, and also if you like to use an H-back or a sniffer back. But then we're also going to talk about some variations of the counter, certain things you can do within your offense to make the counter that much more lethal, that much more dangerous, not just the run-of-the-mill counter play. Also talking about getting the quarterback involved. So a few things you can add in. The basic rules still stay the same, but you're adding in a few other things. Does not change the play. It just adds a few more little wrinkles to it. And that helps you expand the play, and again, make that one play look like 50 different plays, which again is the end result, because as we talked about in the last video, where you want a small playbook, but how can I make counter? How can I make stick? How can I make a screen look like 50 different plays when I'm still just running my normal everyday screen or my normal everyday GT counter. How can I make it look different? What can I add to it? What can I put? Who can I move around? And how does that change the responsibilities? And again, that goes back to the previous video of base rules don't change as far as receivers, especially when it comes to our offense, no matter where they are on the field. Their rules are the same. Standard rules for our 2x2 set, if we were going to run GT counter out of our ace formation, we're looking at it right here. You're going to have down blocks down by the backside tackle and guard. Center's going to down block, the play side guard and tackle are going to down block and work their way to that backside linebacker. You're going to have your backside guard. He's going to pull around. He's meant for that kick out block against that defensive end. And then lastly, we have our tackle. He's wrapping around and he's inserting, looking for this play side linebacker. And then the running back is simply just taking a jab step away from the play and then coming across, meshing with the quarterback and following that tackle inside that hole. And he can, once he gets up inside this hole, he's reading that block, and then he's either bouncing to the outside or he's staying up the middle of the field. Now, we are also reading this defender right here. We can, especially out of a 2x2 set, because we have bubbles screens or now screens on the outside. So the quarterback then could have the RPO option of the run pass by either reading this defender here, pulling the ball and running, and then depending on what this defender does, he can either continue to run or throw the ball out to the bubble. This is our standard version blocking scheme wise. If we're using a sniffer back or a tight end here, a lot of times I like to move the Z into that sniffer back. As far as personnel wise, we can sub out a different body type. A lot of times I like to have that Z as a bigger body anyways in the slot receiver. So really don't have to do a lot of subbing. So this is just the standard if we wanted to call it GH counter as opposed to GT counter. So again, blocking scheme is still the same as if it would be out of a 2x2 set when Z's in the slot. So we still have that backside guard. He's wrapping around here to kick out that defensive end. Now Z is going to be pulling through to get that play side linebacker to time it up a little bit so that he's not on the heels of the guard there. You could potentially have him widen out. You could also have him jab step a little bit too with the running back. So now our backside tackle, if you don't want to read this defensive end, we can have him hinge block here, right here. So he's going to step into the B gap and then kind of seal off that gap there, just kind of hold him to the outside. We are running our bubble to the outside. This is where the quarterback wouldn't necessarily have to read that defensive end since he is being blocked here. So that would be our standard blocking assignment from day one when we were teaching this, how to block it. These are the rules as far as how we teach the counter out of this kind of a formation. But I showed you the basic standard blocking procedures for counter out of that 2x2 set or even out of the sniffer back formation. I want to show you some simple little ideas you can use and install into your counter to make it a little bit different. You can add some variety to it. So just check these things out. These involve simple little motions, simple little play action passes. Nothing drastic. Again, nothing changes as far as the blocking procedure or blocking rules, but it does give a different look to the defense. There are two simple little things that I like to do real quick. These are the easiest things. I like to run jet motion. I like to run jet. And I also like to attach it to my run schemes. So in other words, here we have our counter out of our 2x2 set here. I like a simple little jet motion out of here. So I'm putting H in a fast motion all the way across the formation and possibly even handing off the jet. And then we are running counter behind it. Now there's a couple things you can do with this. You can make this an automatic where the quarterback is automatically either handing off to the jet and faking the counter or vice versa, faking the count or faking the jet, handing off the counter. But the goal for this simple little motion, especially if you run jet, I highly recommend putting this kind of a motion in. What you are trying to do, again, this is the area right here where we are trying to attack. So if we can get just these defenders right here in this area moving laterally towards the jet, following the jet, using that as eye candy, if we can get them to sidestep a little bit horizontally, laterally, away from where we want to hit the counter, that just gives us added space. And that's all we're trying to do. It's a simple little movement like that. Now, here's the thing, too. You run this play, and you have to be diligent. You have to be observant, because if the defense doesn't move, then next time you call this play again, what should you be doing? You should be handing off the jet and faking the counter, because it's kind of an if-then scenario that you hear a lot of other coaches talk about. So if they do this, then we do this. Well, if they don't move, then hand off the jet. If they do move, then you continue handing off the counter. But this is a simple little add that you can put into your counter with motion. You know how much I like motion. This is probably one of the easiest motions you can put into the play. Simple little motion I like to use, especially if I know a defensive line is going to be setting their strength to where my running back is typically going to go. So if you're in a shotgun formation, if you're not in pistol, if you're just a shotgun, we all know that 90% of the time, wherever the running back is lined up, he's going opposite to where he's lined up. Now you're seeing more and more of that same side handoff where they're going same side, but most of the time you're going to see the running back going opposite to where he's lined up. So defense has played onto that. So obviously they're going to set their strength. So a lot of times what you'll see is you'll see that 3 technique opposite of where the running back is, and that nose tackles, and that one is in that 1 technique right there. So obviously they're trying to set up their strength to these gaps here according to where the running back's going to more likely go. So a lot of times if I know this, or if I see something that I can take advantage of, or if other coaches are saying, hey, we have the advantage here, a simple little motion you can do. You can come out in a formation like this, all right? And they obviously are going to align to your formation, because that's what defense is going to do. They're always playing catch up because they don't know what's coming, so they have to adjust. They have to align to what you are showing up in. So that's when you mess with them, and you simply just do a little flip motion with the running back. So you come out in this formation, you quickly flip. You flip the running back over to here, and now we can run counter. Instead of running counter to the left, now all of a sudden quickly we can flip him real fast, and all of a sudden now we're going. Now we're going. We're calling counter. We're calling counter to the right. All right, and this can be built into the play. Okay, so in other words, you could call this ace right. Right could tell the running back to be on the right. Ace right flip. GT right. And all it does is the flip tells running back he's flipping over to the other side. All right, and then quickly, before this defensive line has a chance to adjust, to realign, you are going. Quarterback's running the play, so we quickly flip. He gets set, and we're going. Before they have a chance to reset their gaps, all right, we're going. And so again, blocking assignments, same thing. We're doing counter here. Going there. They're down blocking there. He's coming, kicking out. He's following through. And then running back here, he's got his jab step, and then he's through the hole. And that's how we can do it. It's just a simple little motion that messes with the alignment of the defense. And it's something that I like to do, especially if I know that they're placing that 3 tech on the opposite side. Now, what's one simple thing you can do here? You can obviously just run the pistol. All right, because now the defense has no idea what side is going. But if you're not a pistol type guy, then this is an easy way to counter if they're trying to play the strengths to where your running back's more likely going to go. Into more of a tight end / H-back type of formation here. I'm a big fan too. Not only do we have counter here, we can just run our normal counter. We can even run it out of the jet motion as well. If we put H on the opposite side, we can still run that jet motion that I showed you earlier. But not only that, but I also am a big fan or a big proponent of having the quarterback part of the run game, because what does it do? It equates numbers, okay? You've heard so many coaches talk about whether once the quarterback hands the ball off, then he's out of the play, and you're now playing 1 down as far as against the defense. But if you continue to have the threat of the quarterback in the run game, then the numbers are equated even basically in your favor, especially if you're attacking to a numbers advantage side where you do have the numbers advantage, or you can influence numbers advantage by motion. Adding the quarterback just adds that +1. So a lot of times what I like to do is something simple that you can do. We can just have the running back on this side here. And we can do the same thing over here. We're doing the same thing. Now all we're doing is just simply running a simple little play fake. Okay, so now he is flashing in front. Oops. Running back is flashing. Okay, quarterback is keeping the ball. Okay, because it's going to be a quarterback counter. So counter Q we call it. Okay, things are still the same. We can still have our hinge block right here, where he is right here, hinge blocking right there. He should be a blocking symbol. We have our pull and kick out. He is pulling through and hitting that play side linebacker. Down blocking here. Double team here. Work that to the backside linebacker. And now quarterback simply just rides this fake here a little bit and then clears through and follows. So again, what this potentially does is just like the jet motion, linebackers are keying in and they see, now they shouldn't be keying in on the running back, but their eyes caught by this play fake motion here could potentially have both of them move laterally this way. And again, you don't need much. Don't need much. It's simply a couple steps or two. And that creates that space that you need, that extra little seam. But just getting them to move laterally, opposite direction where the run's supposed to be going, could make a huge difference. So this is something I like to do, getting the quarterback involved in this in the counter run game. So something else we can do, we can run what we call a super counter here, where we are having one more blocker, one more puller along with the play. Now you can do this multiple ways. One way that I just like to do is I like to use the running back as the lead blocker, extra blocker. But we're going to have this continued with the quarterback run game here. So it's going to be super Q, we can call it super Q left. And what all it is, nothing changes with the defensive line. So this is what I'm talking about when I say rules don't change as far as kind of now. Are you changing a couple things for certain skill players? Yes. But as far as the standard base stuff, that doesn't change. That doesn't change. You're just adding little wrinkles in here and there for certain skill players that causes the look a little bit different or causes the run or pass to hit a little bit differently. But the base stuff does not change. So what we can do here, so we can still have our hinge block here where he's doing that, pulling around, kicking out that defensive end. Z is pulling through and he's inserting and hitting that linebacker there. We have a down block by the center, double team here on the 3-tech, moving to that backside linebacker. So now what we can do to help with the timing and also add a +1 in the blocking scheme here is we can have a play fake to almost look like it's going to the running back. Play fake, and he's coming through, and he's either helping out with that linebacker or he's moving all the way up to the safety, or even helping out with that defensive end if that guard needs a little bit of help kicking out that defensive end. Quarterback is coming through here, faking that, and then following in behind. And all it is just a super Q. We just added one more blocker to the scheme. Okay, so we just call it super Q like that. And that tells the running back, okay, I'm faking the handoff and I'm in the lead blocker because this is going to the quarterback. You've heard me talk about attaching screens or attaching RPOs to runs. This is just another way you can set it up by manipulating defense using motion to where you can set up a screen to see where the numbers advantage are. Because again, we are always trying to take advantage of the numbers advantage where we have it. So what you can do, you start out kind of a simple formation like this, where you have 2 by 2, you have 2 receivers to one side, you have 2 to the other side. Z slotted in as more of like a tight end / H-back. You put him in motion over here, and now you've set up with a 3 by 1. And so we just, by motioning there, what does the defense do? How do they align to it? Do they shift? Obviously, they're going to have that. More than likely, they'll probably have this. But do they drop that safety over? Does this linebacker move over? If not, and they have basically, we have 3-on-2, we can run, because what we're going to do is we're going to run a screen to this side. If they don't, and they do all of a sudden move this player over, move a linebacker over, and kind of shift to that motion, then we run counter. So we're running counter the other way. So we just put in motion here, and we're running a screen over here. So essentially, we are just running a simple little screen like this right here. and he would go and block the number 1. He's blocking number 2. So we have that screen set up right here. Okay, we're going to run the screen no matter what. Whether the quarterback throws the ball, hands off, he's supposed to count the numbers in the box. So again, we just have simply GT counter to the left here. So how does that affect? It doesn't affect anything really. Same thing. You have your kick out block. You have your insert right here. Down, double. And then they are moving to backside linebacker. All right, and where we have the numbers. So if we have 2 on 3 over here, obviously we're going to throw that screen all day. But if they move a safety over, they shade the safety over, they move the linebacker over, then obviously our numbers go to the box and in the running game. So this is just another little wrinkle you can add to it by putting motion that player out there to possibly even show the numbers advantage to a screen to this side. Does the defense take the bait and avoid and try and defend against that screen more so than the run? If they do, you take advantage of where the defense is not. That's the whole name of the game. Here's another variation that you can use. It starts off in a 3x1, but we're going to use a little bit of motion to a split back set. And we're actually going to set up either a running back screen or we have counter coming back the other way. So we can technically motion H into the backfield here. And what you want to do is you want to try and keep him offset. Okay, so he's offset here. So now what we're going to do is quarterback is going to then fake this way. Running back's going to set up on a screen out here. So we have a screen technically set up right here. Okay, especially if they move the defense away, the defense moves and shifts with the motion, then we obviously have the screen here. But then we are now running GT to the right with our H. Okay, so now we have 2 plays in 1 here. And again, just like with the last play I showed you, based on the numbers, where it is the numbers advantage. Does the quarterback see the numbers advantage in the box for the run? Or does he see the numbers advantage on the screen on the outside? So we have here, oops, those are supposed to be blocks. Right here to the backside, down block, kicking out. And we are inserting here. So we either have GT going to the right or we have the running back screen to the left. A version of an RPO mixed in with the counter. It's another variation of the little wrinkle you can do. So one way that I saw this being done was have a condensed formation on one side. We're going to run counter to the right here. So needless to say, we are going to have him blocking down, hinge blocking like that. We are going. So here's the variation that I saw with a slide from the receiver by a condensed formation. So as you can see, we got condensed to one side. We got a 2x2 set, but it's condensed to one side. We are going to run counter to the right, but we are going to have a slide back, basically almost like a slide RPO coming back the other way. So we're going to run counter to the right here. So it's GT. So center is going to block down. He's going to block here, double team here. Moving to that backside linebacker. We are kicking out here, wrapping and inserting right here. Receiver here on attached to the line of scrimmage can either come in here and help with this defensive end, or you can put this receiver on almost a corner route to kind of just hold that safety. So we are running counter here like this. The quarterback can keep it or he can roll. And now H is coming on a hard slide motion here. And you have blockers set up here for the RPO screen. Depending on, again, we are leaving this defensive end unblocked here. So the quarterback can pull the ball and run the ball. If that defensive end spills it right there, then simply we just hand the ball off. So it's a wonderful little RPO action off the counter, a little bit of mixing it up with the formations. And still everything as far as GT counter, the blocking assignments for the line stay the same, but you just have little wrinkles in there with the skill players, giving the defense a different look. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a continuation of the previous video that I did building a foundation for success, installing basic rules for your offense as far as receivers, where they are in the field. This is, like I said, a continuation of that, talking about installing basic rules for your counter run scheme. If you are a counter team, and then once those are installed, then you can build and expand off of that counter to, again, make those wrinkles, add those new advantages, those different formations, and those new ways you can run certain things off of the counter look to give more problems for the defense. There are many, many plays that you can be doing this with, and I'm going to show you some more as we go along, because again, this is supposed to be a series of videos. But again, first, remember, always, always, always start from the basics as far as your offense is concerned. Start easy, start small, and then expand. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, give it a like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and I will see you in the next video.